This is the gigantic restaurant that's located Belmont Park. This could be the largest single restaurant in New York City, maybe in the United States. Largest indoor restaurant. It's massive. Absolutely massive. According to certain published reports, this entire grandstand is scheduled to be torn down after the 2024 summer racing season. This is such a magnificent place. It's just that the idea of this facility being torn down to me is upsetting. This place is an historical monument to horse racing and to sports in general. I hope that the powers that be that determine the fate of this facility will reconsider and preserve this building intact. This floor contains a gallery of photographs that chronicle the history of Belmont Park and of the personages that were in this facility. They're just incredible. Here are photographs of some of the most famous racehorses in the world. Here's Whirlaway after a Triple Crown victory at June 7, 1941. Here's a photo of Bing Crosby holding his charge Don Bingo, May 26, 1943. Here's Man of War, August 21st, 1920. Here's Assault with Eddie Arcaro. Bold Venture. This picture was taken October 1st, 1938. Johnstown is steered to post by Jimmy Stout for the futurity of Belmont, October 1st, 1938. Al Sab goes to post at Belmont with jockey El Haas, May 13th, 1944. Brookmead Stables Cavalcade goes to post with John Gilbert up for the Ben Brush Handicap of 1935 at Belmont. Trainer George Conway holds reins of 1937 Triple Crown winner War Admiral after jockey Wayne D. Wright steered him to victory in the Jockey Club Gold Cup at Belmont Park, October 1st, 1938. Louis Tufano's Market Wise in the Belmont Park Winner's Circle after taking 1941 running with the Jockey Club Gold Cup with Basil James up. Sunbow won 33 races and earned $376,444 for his owner, W.S. Kilmer. Today, that sum of money would be more like 34 million and change. Let's look at more photographs. Relaxing before the start of the races at Belmont Park, 1936. Milton Holden, Dorothy R. Fell, daughter of Mrs. Ogden Mills and Henry W. Bull, president of the Turf and Field Club. At Belmont Park, 1968, John W. Haynes, John S. Knight, and John T. Olin. Mrs. John Vernon Bouvier III at Belmont Park, May 9th, 1938. She was the mother of Jacqueline Kennedy. Larry S. McPhail, very famous in the world of baseball. Assault's victory in 1946 Belmont Stakes. Pictured here are George D. Widener, Mayor William O'Dwyer, August Belmont, Jockey Warren, Mertens, trainer Max Hirsch, Mrs. Robert J. Clayburgh Jr., Helenita Clayburgh, and Admiral Mark A. Mitchell. Mark A. Mitchell of World War II fame. Here's a picture showing Mr. and Mrs. Fred Astaire at Belmont Park, September 1936. Our Hope and Kelso fight to the finish line in 1961 Whitney at Belmont Park. Kelso with Eddie Arcaro off was the winner. Here's a photograph of jockeys Ted Atkinson, Earl Sand, and Eddie Arcaro before the start of the day's races. At Belmont Park. October 5th, 1953. Here's General and Mrs. Dwight D. Eisenhower, Mrs. George E. Widener, and Mr. and Mrs. John W. Haynes at the 1961 Belmont Stakes. Mr. and Mrs. William Woodward Jr. at the Belmont Ball, June 10th, 1955. Citation with Eddie Arcaro up after winning the Belmont Stakes to become the Triple Crown winner of 1948. This is truly astounding. More photographs, more of famous people. Mrs. Charles S. Pace and her mother, Mrs. Payne Whitney, and Henry W. Bull, president of the Turf Club and Turf and Field Club, Belmont Park, 1933. Mr. and Mrs. John D. Hertz and jockey John Longden have good reason to smile at Belmont Park on May 20th, 1943, following victory by Count Fleet in the Withers. Albert C. Boswick, Mrs. John D. Hertz, and jockey Jimmy Stout following the sporting plate, Belmont Park, November 8th, 1938. These are truly, truly historical photographs. Native Dancer is led to victory lane by owner Alfred G. Vanderbilt after being steered by Eric Guerin to a dramatic Belmont Stakes victory June 13, 1953. Alfred Patrick Smithwick and his brother D. Michael at Belmont Park, April 1936. All dressed up in their Sunday finery, the daughters of Mr. and Mrs. Charles S. Payson, Sandra Payne, and Linda at Belmont Park. Mrs. Langdon Post and Bernard Baruch at Belmont Park Paddock, 1935. Just magnificent, wonderful photographs. At presentation ceremonies following the 37th running of the Grand National Steeplechase, Joseph W. Widener, president of Belmont Park, awards trophy to Mrs. Charles Shipman Payson, whose mother, Mrs. Payne Whitney, owned the winner, Sailor Beware, winning jockey Henry Little. Is that right? Miss Bernard Baruch and Mrs. Dodge Sloan chat between races at Saratoga, August 1956. On the way to the Triple Crown, jockey Willie Saunders steers William Woodward's Omaha to the post for the 1935 Belmont Stakes. John B. Campbell inspects racetrack. Kate presented to him on his 75th birthday at Belmont Park, September 23rd, 1951. At riders, Francis P. Dunn. Okay, this is a fantastic facility. Tremendous amount of history here. Now it's empty. Well, life goes on. Time marches on. Things change.